Well, first off, I'm absolutely demodding you because you're not modding. You're sitting there. People are literally in the chat, all right, basically saying my ex-girlfriend's name and shit, and you're doing nothing about it. So obviously I don't want you as a moderator, but why would I want you as a moderator in my chat if you're just going to sit there and ignore shit because you're complaining and having personal gripes about the content or whatever?
Just when I thought that nothing could make DSP's Mr. Medicare react interesting, Major Whale and Denthead Iron Chef Sakai decided to pop off and provide some much-needed entertainment. For context, maybe 2 minutes before the start of this clip, DSP had asked him to moderate some troll elements in the Kick chat, and what we're watching today is the direct result. Please enjoy.
Iron Chef Sakai, would you like me to demod you and get you out of here? I mean, if you're going to sit here talking shit in the chat, I mean, do you really think that that's something that I need for my chat right now? For people on Kick? Do you really believe that that's like a positive thing to be doing? Because it's pretty obvious that you don't want to be here. Literally every stream you're complaining, you're in there being toxic. People don't need you around doing that shit. So should I just demod you and take you out now? Or are you going to actually like cut the shit? It's the holiday season. You're acting like an idiot. Like, what is your problem? Can I continue with my work now? Can I do my job? Or do you have to act like a 5-year-old?
Now, obviously, this kind of toxic behavior and way of speaking is normal for DSP, and for those familiar with Phil, you know that even whales can be subjected to this kind of disrespect. But how quickly the switch up happened, how quickly DSP went from liking Iron Dent Sakai to berating him publicly, it could make your head spin. DSP was right though in saying that the writing was on the wall. Sakai, at least from what I saw in the Kick chat over the course of a week, was growing ever more frustrated with DSP's content. And because he was growing ever more frustrated, he decided to let his voice be heard. He decided to let Phil know that the content he was making was not content that he wanted. He was actually asking for more gameplay and less drama, which is exactly the type of sentiment you think the DSP would actually appreciate, but apparently not. And I think the main issue really is DSP's ego in this instance. He can really only take so much negativity before you get a segment like this, a total meltdown over really nothing.
Like, really, I want to know what's going on that you're doing this publicly and acting like a jerk. Like, listen, if you guys don't believe me, you're wondering what he's saying, just so everyone knows, because I know I have people on YouTube that aren't in the Kick chat. Here's what Iron Chef Sakai just said. He says, you ready? I could tip this man $1,000. He wouldn't give a fuck. He'd be like, now can we hit the $1,500 goal? So if you have a problem with me, why are you my moderator? Why are you in the chat? Why are you saying toxic things? You're the one who's making the bad environment for the community right now. You're also in there complaining constantly. Oh, I don't like React content. Oh, I don't like political content. Oh, I don't like the game he's playing. So leave. You understand you're an adult. You have freedom to do whatever you want. Really, you understand that, right? You don't have to be on someone's stream and watch content you don't like. Sitting around whining and fucking complaining about it is immature, and it just brings down the whole community. So if you don't want to be here, leave. Get it?
You'll notice though that there was no denial. At no point did he deny Sakai's claim that if given $1,000, he would still beg for more money to hit the next goal. And he didn't deny it because it's just a fact. Time after time, that's the exact behavior Phil has displayed. You'd think that if Phil was so offended by this true statement that he would, I don't know, try and change his ways for the better so that he could look himself in the mirror. But of course, that'll never happen because this is DSP. It's far easier for him to just maintain his echo chamber and ban any dissenting opinions. And I always find it so silly when these lolcows say things like, you're an adult, you can go somewhere else if you don't want to watch the content, because that exact same logic can be applied the exact opposite way. He's an adult, I'm assuming. If he wants to spend his free time complaining about content from a streamer that he's given a small fortune to, that's entirely his prerogative. And clearly Sakai has decided that it was in fact worth his time, regardless of whether or not DSP agrees or thinks that it's childish.
This is not like rocket science. Really, it's not. It doesn't take high levels of human intelligence and comprehension to understand. If you don't like content, don't stick around for it. You know who I am. You know the content I make. I announced for ages I was going to do this long form react. If you don't like it, why are you here? If you don't like me, why are you supporting me? Can you explain this? Can anyone explain this kind of weirdo behavior? Listen, I'm going to go live and talk insane shit about you if you try anything. What are you talking about? I swear, is it just me? Or do some of the most unhinged people on the internet tend to gravitate towards me? Right? Like, what is going on right now?
You know, once again, I do have to agree. Some of the most unhinged weirdos do definitely gravitate towards DSP, but I'm not just talking about detractors. I'm also talking about his fans, because it seems more often than not, when any info comes out about any of them, it turns out that they're all societal rejects in one way or another, or have some sort of peculiar degenerate interest. Who would have thunk? And apparently it's gotten so bad that even DSP has to acknowledge it publicly, that the people that surround him are weirdos through and through. It's always so interesting to see which glimpses of reality he does actually manage to see through the veil of pycnosis that clouds his day-to-day life.
I'm lost. What exactly did I do to piss off this guy at all, that now every day he's in my chat and he's saying toxic things about the content? He's bringing down the vibes of the chat. People are bringing it up to me saying, what is up with this guy? You made him a mod and now he's acting this way. I don't know. I literally don't know. I don't know what this guy's problem is. I wish I knew. I don't personally know every person. That's the thing. So I try to be nice. You know, it's the holiday season. I'm like, maybe just this guy's stressed out, right? Maybe there's something going on personally. Who knows, right?
And of course, he tried to turn this whole thing around and make himself look better by pointing out how lenient he was on Sakai in the spirit of the holidays. What a thinly veiled attempt at autofellatio. Anyone could tell you exactly why Sakai was met with such leniency, and it wasn't because of the holidays, it's simply because he paid money. Anyone who knows anything about the guy's past knows that this seems to be a reoccurring bit every once in a while. All of a sudden, a whale enters the pond, they start to give DSP a bunch of money, they get modship, and then for some reason they start behaving poorly. Then because they're mods, because they're well respected in the community, they're met with no resistance on their poor behavior until eventually they're made an example of publicly. It's just a very odd demonstration of power that seems to be reoccurring in the DSP timeline. It really isn't a joke when people say that DSP operates in cycles. It just seems like the people who follow him, his dents, his whales, his mods, also seem to be operating within this cycle.
Iron Chef Sakai says, do a poll, ask the people if they want to watch this shit about little kids and pedos. Iron Chef Sakai, if they don't want to watch it, they don't have to be here, right? I've got pretty decent viewership. On Kick, we got about the usual 50 viewers we get. On YouTube, I've got between 250 to 300 viewers, which is decent. Some games I get more, some games I get less than that. This is more viewership than I've had for a few different things that I've done this week. So obviously there's desire for it. This is interesting to me. I'm actually enjoying learning about this guy who I knew nothing about. So why are you here to derail the stream? Right? Like, and by the way, you can tell I'm just being chill. Like, I'm not even upset. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I need an explanation of why people behave like this. Right? So Iron Chef Sakai, are you just trying to get attention for yourself? Is that what it is? Like, you're bored and you want attention that you're acting like this? Because again, normal people, okay, this person's not doing something that I like. I just won't go to that stream. Right? Or, well, I don't like this person anymore. Right? So I think what we'll do, you know, I'll tell him I don't want to mod for him anymore. I'm not going to contribute to him anymore. I'm going to move on. Right? Yeah, but Rare Tricks, you understand the reason I said that to him is because he's literally a mod and he's not doing his job. Someone right next to his statement, so you know he's active in the chat, is spamming the name of my ex-girlfriend, is saying insulting things, and he's ignoring it. He's not moderating. Instead, he's sitting here saying, wow, I don't like this. I don't like this stream. I don't like this content. So why are you here? Why? I mean, I want an answer. Why would you be here for content you don't like?
So demanding, isn't he? And he's demanding an explanation from someone who has clearly stated the issue that they were taking with the content. And if I'm throwing my own 2 cents in there, I think that Iron Chef Sakai actually had a point. I was also falling asleep watching that Medicare react that the guy was putting on. I would have rather have seen him playing games and doing his minimal commentary as opposed to the snooze fest that was him trying to learn about Medicare. As a matter of fact, it was so boring that even DSP declared it a dud and pretty much a waste of his time the following day on the pre-stream. But really, my favorite part about this whole thing is that Sakai was asking for gameplay. DSP's bread and butter, the thing that made him who he is today, the thing that got him his small fortune, his gameplay, was what Sakai was asking after. And this is what he was met with.
He says, I could care less. I came for the video games, not bullshit drama you say isn't drama, but it is drama. This is the first React content I have done in months. I haven't done a long-form React since August. I haven't done any kind of drama content consistently at all. And by the way, you sit around during most of my gameplay streams and complain about those too. I'm not making it up. Like, this is true.
Has he legitimately convinced himself that the only time he's technically doing drama content is when he's doing a react? Does he really think that all of those RTU segments, all those boogie rants, all those times that he brought up the side scrollers recently, all of the times that he was talking about his drama with Keemstar, none of that was actually drama? Because it was on the pre-stream? What is it then? Is it news? It's not gameplay? I genuinely don't know what category it could be in other than drama, but apparently it's not, according to the guy. And while I can understand why he would want Leanna's name moderated, it's kind of crazy to assume that every mod you have is intricately familiar with your lore and drama enough to remember her name, identify it as a problem, and take care of it. While I'm sure that that wasn't the case for Sakai, I don't know how DSP would know that, because according to Sakai, they never had any sort of back and forth in DMs, and he wasn't allowed in the moderator's Discord. He even claims that this lack of access to the moderator Discord left him feeling as though he wasn't sure what was and wasn't allowed to be in the chat, and that's why he was so lax on moderation. And whether DSP wants to admit it or not, this lax moderation over in the Kick chat is the only reason that he still has viewers on Kick at all. Everyone that's left over there is either a troll or a LARPer, and you can just tell by the way that they're constantly chatting. It seems as though that's coming to an end, as over the past week, DSP has been tightening his death grip on the Kick chat more and more.
Hey, what are you talking about? Again, there's no justification for the way you're behaving. You're a moderator, all right? So you can either say, okay, I get it. If I don't like the content you're making right now, I'm not going to come to that stream because it bothers me too much, and I just sit there and I'm toxic in the chat. So I'll stop coming to those streams, okay? And I'm not going to sit here and say insulting things about Phil, like he doesn't care if people contribute. Of course I do. It's my living. I'm so grateful for the insane amount of positivity I've had thrown my way this year. Why would you say that except you're being a toxic jerk? He goes, oh, I've pulled you through so many streams. I'm not going to back down. So now you're saying, I just want to get this straight. This is all unfolding publicly. So now you're saying that because you contributed financially to me, that you can do whatever you want. That's what you literally just said.
Except it's not literally what he just said, and I don't even mean that just semantically, like, oh, he didn't use the exact wording. I mean, you'd have to assume the worst about what he actually said in order to think that that's what he meant. And I think that any reasonable person would understand that what Iron Chef Sakai was actually saying was that because of the amount of money that he's given you in the past, that you should show him a little more respect and not publicly shame him. And when you do, he's not gonna just roll over. Like I said, though, I think that a reasonable person would understand that, but that's not DSP. He isn't reasonable, he isn't rational, but he is very quick to make an example of someone whenever he sees fit, whenever he thinks that it's time to get the dents back in line. And that's why when situations like this occur, it's far more interesting and notable, because this is a display of power on DSP's end, and usually it goes off without a hitch, but every once in a while, one of these whales, one of these big members of the community becomes a problem, and when they don't take it lying down, you get to see the chaos unfold. You get to see the meltdown segment.
I contributed to you. I don't get it. I can't just be toxic and I can't derail your streams and I can't complain about every piece of content that you make. No, you can't. Being a contributor doesn't make you above the rules. Everyone still needs to enjoy the content, and if you're the reason that you're bringing it down and adding toxicity to it, you need to be called out. Exactly, Ponage 101. He goes, what the fuck's going on? This is supposed to be a react stream. I know. And I literally can't even do my work because this guy is derailing everything and being toxic and negative, right? I just don't get it. I'm lost. Can anyone make any sense of this? Like, what am I supposed to do? You have someone who's a contributor who wanted to be a moderator. I made him a moderator, and it seems like ever since I did, all they do is complain about my content. They're sitting here complaining nonstop. Then they say, oh, I don't appreciate contributions. Can I work? Can I do my work, please? Or is this your personal gripes room, right?
He sat here asking what he's supposed to do. How about continue the stream? How about play the documentary and give the commentary like you were supposed to do? No one forced him to do this, and by now he should have realized that publicly arguing with viewers and supporters in this manner is just bad optics through and through. But for all of my audio styles out there, or people who just didn't catch it, Iron Chef Sakai is absolutely antagonizing Phil, and his last message read, "Just doubled your viewers, you're welcome," which is an absolutely hilarious hilarious thing to say to him. Still incredibly dented because he gave Phil money, but I'm sure that it bothered DSP to know that people were showing up in droves just to watch this shit show unfold.
And then he even says to me, well, go ahead. If you want to ban me, ban me. Like, you understand? All I want is logic, and you're not presenting any. Instead, you're saying, well, I contributed, so I should be able to do whatever I want. Ban me if you want. Why does this have to do with you? Right? Well, first off, I'm absolutely demodding you because you're not modding. You're sitting there. People are literally in the chat, all right, basically saying my ex-girlfriend's name and shit, and you're doing nothing about it. So obviously, I don't want you as a moderator. But why would I want you as a moderator in my chat if you're just going to sit there and ignore shit because you're complaining and having personal gripes about the content or whatever? You know? And by the way, now I'm stuck, and now I can't even see the chat because I clicked on your name, and now it doesn't even, I can't even move. Wow, Kick sucks in this regard. Like, I can't even go back. So now I have to reopen the chat in another tab. Isn't it great that we're losing all this time for content because Iron Chef Sakai had to make the entire thing about himself? Right?
He really didn't, though. He could have continued bitching in the Kick chat with all of the other trolls and LARPers, and no one would have cared. DSP's real dent heads on YouTube would have been none the wiser had he not brought it up. But again, he chose to make it an ordeal and have the entire stream come to a screeching halt so that he could publicly shame one person. I don't know how many times he has to go through this whole routine, though, before he realizes that it's not worth his time, that this is not the proper way to do this, and it only makes him look worse. Because these are the exact type of segments that trolls look for. These are the things that get him called out all of the time and cement him with his lolcow status. This is the exact type of reactions that people want out of him on a daily basis, and here he is giving it.
Listen, he's still going. Why does a Medicare doc have anything to do with you? Because I'm reacting to it. When you react to content, you're supposed to be adding commentary, criticism, personal insights, and find a way to relate it to you. That's the interesting part. When you comment on something, you make it in relation to you. That's why people watch your react to it. I want to watch DSP watch the documentary because he's going to have things to add from his perspective or compare it to something he's been through, and that's interesting. How do you not get that? I don't, like, seriously. What is with your brain, dude?
But he didn't have anything to add. He didn't have any insight. That's probably what Sakai's biggest issue was in the first place. Like I said, the Medicare react was an absolute snooze fest through and through. About the only interesting part of the whole stream was when he tried to make it about him and kept assuming that everyone Medicare was interacting with was one of his trolls for some reason. It almost seemed as if he didn't actually know anything about Medicare and was really only interested in him because he mentioned Phil occasionally. Now please enjoy DSP fumbling around for a few minutes trying to demod Sakai on Kick.
I don't even know how to fucking unmod someone. I don't even know how you do it. Yeah, I don't even know. I can't even do it. It's just invalid. No matter what I try, it's all invalid commands. What the hell is the fucking command to demod someone on Kick? Because at the very least, I'm not going to have you have moderator powers if you're not going to use them for the right reasons, and you're going to sit here and you're going to derail my content. Because it misrepresents me. I'm sorry. I'm in the dashboard. I don't know where the commands are in dashboard. I have no idea how to find it. Unmount in your chat window. I did that. It doesn't work. Navigate to the community section. Okay. Ah, thank you. There it is. Okay. Thank you for that, because I had no idea where the hell it was. Okay, now I know how to do that for the future. Again, first time I had to do that on Kick. I don't know why this guy's acting like this. No, Iron Chef Sakai, you see, that's the thing. I'm going to make it about you, because you did. You're the one who acted like this in chat. You're the one who was toxic. You're the one who brought down my content. You're the one who derailed it. So now I'll make it all about you because that's what you wanted, right? It's obvious. You've been in the chat for days complaining about every piece of content I put out. So I'll make it all about you because that's what you wanted. That's obviously what you were going for. So now you've got your time in the sun. How does it feel? That's the question. How does it feel to have the spotlight on you, which is what you wanted all along, right? Because now I think you're realizing, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done this, right?
So condescending, so arrogant, and so utterly unlikable. But I do think that Phil is right again in that Iron Chef Sakai was regretting his decision. I won't show you the entire hour-long cope stream he did after, but it definitely seemed as though he wished that he didn't pop off the way that he did. He wasn't by any means sobbing or seething, but he was definitely in disbelief that he was banned, and the story that he was telling just was not adding up. I want to say that at one point he even outright said that he probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get that footage. It's kind of irrelevant.
Now let me see if I can get the chat open again. Okay. Okay. All right. So, now for the record, Iron Chef Sakai is demoted on kick, and if he continues to act the way he's acting, he's going to catch a fucking ban like anyone else would. All right? All right, get the fuck out. Now you're just full of shit. Like, what a fucking loser. He says, oh, you played Coin Game just to make me contribute. Go fuck yourself. No, really. I want you to do me a personal favor. I want you to go fuck yourself in the ass. You're a fucking loser. You're unhinged. You're fucking out of your mind. Yes, I specifically played a game just for you to make you contribute. You're insane. Get the fuck out of my community. What a fucking weirdo. Now do yourself a favor. Go make a series of unhinged, deranged videos and streams about me, about how I'm a horrible person and a horrible content creator, and I really screwed you over. Go ahead and do it. I dare you. Because that's what they all do. Go be the next one. Go be the next unhinged loser that no one's going to miss, okay? Go be the next Bathtub Ross. Go for it. Or, you know, I mean, wow, that was amazing. That really added to the stream and the content. You really proved a point, didn't you? What a weirdo. Okay. Now can we get back on topic, please? I had about half an hour left to go before the food arrived, and now we got completely derailed by this fucking nut job. Like, what the hell, dude?
DSP has been so disrespectful to his own viewers and fans that it has become normal for them to become fed up with his behavior and make videos calling him out. And this has been the case for about a decade now. So I have to ask, what other content creators have this issue? I'm sure that he isn't the only one, but you would think that at some point he would begin to look inward for the problem rather than outward, at least after 10 years. But he just seems to be so convinced that everyone else is always in the wrong, and sometimes I'm just stunned by it. And out of all of the things that Iron Chef Sakai said over this exchange, he was the most upset over that, a comment about playing a game just so that he would tip. For those who missed it earlier, Sakai was insinuating in DSP's chat that DSP was a PDF style because it came up as a topic in the Medicare doc and DSP was watching it. I guess being accused of playing games for money is worse than a PDF accusation. Make that make sense. But that was the forced removal of known dent Iron Chef Sakai. Another whale has left, and so I'm sure DSP's hunt will begin again soon. Because let's face it, he doesn't have very many whales left. Everybody knows that it's only a few people who support his whole entire lifestyle anyway. He can't keep bleeding them the way that he has been. Hopefully you enjoyed this video enough to come back for the next one. Until then, be safe. And if you don't hear from me until after, have a Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
I want you to go fuck yourself in the ass. You're a fucking loser.